I'd like to now introduce our next presenter for the day. It will be a presentation on healthcare as an investment, and it will be by Dr. Louis Machogu. We all know Dr. Louis Machogu. He's the president of the Pharmaceutical Society of Kenya. Dr. Louis works with amazing individuals and teams in transforming Africa's healthcare into a functional and sustainable ecosystem for all through Medkit.Network Limited. Dr. Somoni's work has previously been recognized with notable awards such as Jacobs Well Awards, that was in 2018. Also the Men Impacting Differently Award, Top 40 Under 40 Business Leaders, and that was in 2016. We also have the Top 100 East African Business Finalist, BD Africa, ILO Launchpad in 2011. How remarkable. He is devoted to and enjoys learning more about healthcare enterprises, both startups and SMEs seeking change and growth, individuals seeking balance around their marriage, raising children, hobbies, as well as men challenging themselves into leaders who leave a worthwhile legacy in their areas of service or influence. Dr. Machogu, I'd like to hand over this session to you. Welcome, Dr.
Thank you, Dr. Kathy. Morning, everyone. I was even wondering who you're talking about. Will I be able to share my screen? Morning, everyone.
Morning, Dr. Machogu.
First, I'd like to thank the attendance. It's been quite high throughout all the programs. I'd like to thank the team, the secretariat team. I know they're locked up in the office trying to make this all work, and also the committee for the symposium committee, and also all NEC members, NGC members, also the leaders. I saw yesterday we had leaders from CAPI, we also leaders from KPDA, FKPM as well. It's quite amazing to see the family all coming together. And yeah, so I'd like to make a presentation today on raising our profile as Kenyan pharmacists. And am I still able to share? I can't share. Is someone working on that? Yeah, thank you.
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Yeah, there you go. I'm trying to see. Did you guys see my message this morning? I'm sharing my screen. I don't know how many of you saw my message this morning. I think I was calling out to. So we've made a presentation before at the AGM, and we've had several meetings. So I would like to present on the final recommendation to the PSOC board for the investment in a high volume parenteral fluid manufacturing plant. This is something we've been doing due diligence over the last nearly 2 years. It's gained traction maybe towards mid this year when we got a shot in the arm from one of our colleagues, and I'll be sharing that shortly. But really what you're trying to do is I think we've been having conversations and wondering how do we raise the profile of the Kenyan pharmacist, the profession itself, and PSK regionally and globally. Those of you who know in the past, there are many other areas we try to do that. I usually say there are 3 options, and I think generally I agree, because even yesterday someone in the one of the breakout sessions mentioned that we actually need to be in parliament. I don't know if any of you know that we've actually have pharmacists who've been parliamentarians. We have Dr. Chris Murungaru, who was quite crucial together with Honorable Fellow Ndemo to get us the doctor title. I think he used to be a CS at that. He was a CS at that time, or he was quite high up there as a parliamentarian. We also later on, he became the CS of Internal Security until now he left. Then we also had Dr. Mtanalewa, who was MP in Kilifi County. We also had Honorable Fellow Mtanalewa, let me correct myself there. Also, we've had the former president, Dr. Paul Mwaniki. He ran in was it Kibwezi, one of the Kibwezis, yeah? He ran, of course, he didn't get. I don't know if any of you know all that, but I keep hearing we need to enter politics because that's where we need to do. But again, politics, it can finish our money and just leave us even more, you know, with a shorter hand than we actually had. When we made noise, you know, we've been making noise over the years, right from when we got arrested. I know you know that we got arrested. We even hid our president in a safe house and reassure the family that he was well until that cloud came down, the dust came down. But also recently, when we've challenged Parliament, even myself and my NEC members getting threatening messages, yeah, of what we are pushing for, yeah. And really, we're not pushing for our own selves, yeah. We are pushing for the betterment of the public. We want the public to have access to the rights and safe products of guaranteed quality, strengthened regulator, strengthened profession, raised profile of the profession. But again, we also, when you make noise, you also get labeled as you just want to amass something for yourself. So we are left with the third option, which I like it because this option is not left to the PSK leaders alone. Yeah, it's not left to your branch leaders, to your sector leaders. It actually comes down to each and every one of us, as His Excellency the President usually says, ni mimi na wewe. It requires our competence, and it's the project of creating a flagship project of national interest. Most of you know, since COVID, the government has been fast-tracking national, projects that, especially in healthcare, projects that have national investors and what have you, so that we don't have to import some of the things that are crucial for us to live. And one of them is the infusion. We know that Autosterile and Infusion Kenya used to be the main ones. They're no longer. Their products, their equipment are obsolete. They're out of market. They can't meet the demand that is there, as I'll be showing later. So I can see we are 300 and something. That's good. When I sent this message, I wanted to sort of just get you thinking and come in and see how then can you, we make you aware how you and your loved ones can take part through private placements in investing in a center of excellence and a profitable high volume parenteral fluids plant that has regional and global impact. We also target to be the first to IPO in the healthcare segment. All of you know that there's no healthcare segment in, let alone pharmaceutical, there's no healthcare segment in the Nairobi Stock Exchange. So this opportunity we are providing you is one of serving the nation, raising your profile as a Kenyan pharmacist and PSK, and giving you a huge return on investment for your generosity and vision. Already we've gotten 14% of the phase 1 funds, as I'll show. And we have a feasibility data that you've done, captured over that period I've said, 2 years. And we've come up with a roadmap that now is in the recommendation report that we submitted on 6th of October, on Tuesday. And we have approached some strategic partnerships. Those of you who came to the AGM, you know, we made the presentation of what you had presented to Africa Import and Export Bank, who said this is the kind of thing that they're looking for. We just need to make certain things in order, and that's what we've done in the roadmap. Yeah, so as much as I know it's a good idea and you would like to congratulate yourselves for the milestones we've made so far, I would like you to ask us the hard questions, because that's where we will be able to sort of, because we want to plug those holes, yeah, so that we can be able to have something that will be successful. So don't feel like you can't ask a hard question, please ask it, because that's how we'll be able to make it a success. So into my presentation. Here we go. So this is the, I think it's visible. If it's not visible, you can put it on chat and say that it's not, and I'll try and see what I need to do. But you can view this on your screen, and I'll be able to share this. And remember, we are recording this. So we're calling it Operation Raising the Profile of the Pharmaceutical Society of Kenya, because that's the home. That's really the home of pharmacists and the Friends of Pharmacists. It's about serving the nation, raising our profile, and giving us a huge return, you particularly, on your investment for your generosity and vision. So it's an invitation to invest in a local fluids manufacturing plant. We had a member who responded to, and I think I said this in my opening remarks, who has seen the last 4 years, the work we put in, the selfless sacrifice has been provided by the leaders from National Governing Council, NEC, and they're looking about matters existential. What will we leave for the next generation? Yeah, will PSK always be going with a begging cup? Year in, year out. Will all the funds coming from membership just go towards running operations? And remember, one of the visions when we were coming in is, can we look for alternative funding that will be able to make sure that we give the membership funds go direct to branch membership activities instead of going to the head office, then something is sent back. Yeah. Again, we hope that the national government, the county governments will learn something from us. So you can see we don't necessarily have to go to parliament to be able to influence and the nation. I mean, Safaricom didn't go to parliament. So we can actually go into the market. Equity didn't go to the parliament. We can actually go to the market. And as we go to the market, then the public will be able to see there are people called pharmacists, and why shouldn't they be our members of parliament? Why shouldn't they be our senators? Why shouldn't they be our MCAs and what have you? So Dr. Tundo got inspired by our vision and our sacrifice. Remember, apart from the secretariat, that's the CEO and the team she has there, which we actually don't pay market rates. None of us is paid to do this work. We all serve, and because we have a vision that has brought all of us together. And we would like to sell the same vision to you so that you rally behind it. Yeah, I think we've shown commitment over the last years. And you can actually reward yourselves by just plugging in and calling the other members in, because right now we only have 343, and a huge number of them is our friends, friends of the profession. So where is everyone, and can they come back? So we want you to, by word of mouth, if each of you can go reach out to 5 other pharmacists out there, we can pull this off. So we have generously been offered 5 acres of commercial land. From this, as we pull this off, we don't even have to worry about where will PSK be off this year. If this is in Machakos County, so that means the eastern branch and the national office will have a home, to build our first parenteral fluids plant and R&D in niche products. We know there are opportunities in herbal pharmaceuticals, but that's another phase. Right now, we're looking at high volume parenteral fluids. We also have key data on feasibility. Dr. Tundo, just to remind you, has over 30 years experience in the sector, has been a mentor to each and almost many of us, has served many of us, and also has been in the local manufacturing sector for over the last 24 years with Sphinx. Those of you who know KMA, I mean, if I would ask you which are the, in quotes, the titans of professional bodies, you'd say KMA, LSK, IcePack. If you go dig deeper, what made them, have that confidence? And, apart from, of course, understanding their identity and all that, but one of the things is having the land donated to them. KMA got their land donated to them in Upper Hill. LSK, where they host their office, IcePack as well. So it's this gesture of donating land to these projects is actually a huge one, and I think it will propel us into a new area in terms of level, in terms of raising our profile. So we expect the impact to be as follows: to boost local supply chain and commodity securities for the health sector, achieve self-sufficiency aspirations, model technical knowledge transfer, skills utilization, research and development that will act as a stepping stone for future expansion into increased and decentralized production at county and Africa regional level, as well as export. So the 5 acres will go in towards this project. PSK will get a corner to have its set up its office and resource center. I'm trying to see. Yeah, so please keep the questions coming. Some of the questions are being asked, I can see, will be answered in this presentation. And of course, the cream of all this is we'll be able as PSK to showcase the leadership domicile within its members, leadership that identifies, meets societal needs through commerce, enterprise, and professionalism, while offering an investment opportunity first to pharmacists, then to the rest of the country and world. When we list in the NSE as the Safaricom IPO for the health sector and pharmaceutical industry trading group of the NSE. This is just an image to show what donations can do to the profile of your organization, and particularly the donation of land. Yeah. So we have IcePack, we have KMA, we have LSK, PSK. So for us is, you know who PSK is. Yeah, I was just sharing who the other bodies are. You all know who they are. PSK is our representative body of pharmacists and showing leadership in this sector. So this is an opportunity for us, like I said, to just showcase our leadership. Our differentiator, and why I think we will make this is, if you look at these others, KMA built this project and sold it. I doubt they would be able to list this project in the stock market because they are not really experts in real estate. Yeah, as we are experts in our pharmaceutical supply chain and commodity security. So this is our sector. And our hypothesis came about when we sat down and thought, if you remember PSK did the Kiambu project, if we are not experts in land, and the public gave us, I think, for that project was almost 0.75 billion, yeah, for that Kiambu project. What of now where we are investing in a project where we are experts in? Just look at that image, yeah? A plant where we are experts in. And I can tell you in that land in Kiambu, no one has constructed apart from Dr. Dubai Ngera. There are 150 plots. No one apart from Dr. Dubai Ngera who has started construction. Those of you who bought in that Dew Ridge project, and also those of you who did, who are in PSOC, who are investors in PSOC. So you know that, yeah? So they actually parked their money for 7 years, speculating. But here we are saying, you come and park your money in a project where we are experts in and can drive, and we know where we are driving to as we are going into the counties and also regionally. So we have a final report here that we made to the PSOC board that came from over 10 meetings. We had a meeting at the PSK GM. We've met NEC. We've met the PSOC board. We've had, I think, 6 special committee meetings on the fluid plant. We met Afrexim Bank. We've met market consultants and manufacturing consultants. So the first item is forming a project steering committee. So with the following terms of reference: setting up and fundraising a budget for the project, fundraising on the investment, stakeholders engagement and management, project management, delivering the project, sets the project up for structures of profitability, success, and listing in the NSC within the next 7 years. Those of you who know, Tuskies wanted to list, was already being accelerated in a program for listing in the NSC. So the NSC is actually hungry for projects that make sense. Yeah, we've also approached them, and those of you who know, I was in the class for the Business Daily to 40 under 40 with the CEO for NSC, and they're actually waiting for these projects to come in so that they can accelerate us, especially because it's a project of national interest. Run with the recommendations in this report. So point number 2, composition of the project steering committee. There's a chair there, the PSK president, 3 PSOC members. Again, this will be strategically picked from tasks that will be listed below. There are 9 tasks. It would be good to have leaders like the MEDS CEO, Dr. Masiga, guys who've been able to, and others who are out there. Again, the PSOC board will be able to reach out and bring them strategically for this project. We have Dr. Otundo as a member or his alternate, Dr. Daniela, and at bare minimum, someone who is at her caliber, yeah, in terms of project management, communication. She's a communications expert and all that. We have the PSOC financial consultant. We'll need a project and financial consultant who has experience in preparing a company to list in the Nairobi Stock Exchange. That will be one of the team members there. Communications and marketing consultant with experience in fundraising for such a target group, from such a target group and product. Again, we'll get expertise. You remember when Safaricom wanted to do IPO, they got, I forget that communications company, but they got a communications company that really talks to each. So we have diverse membership. How can the member who is just starting out give 1,000 into the project? How can the member who is self-actualized donate 50 million into the project? Yeah, not donate, invest. Yeah. Also, specifically, we have identified the following 3 industry experts: Dr. Franklin Keter, PhD. I think you saw his credentials yesterday when Dr. Wanyanga was presenting. Dr. Onkoba. There's some work they did with Kemri, and again, he's also a leader who has served us in the Legal and Ethics Committee. Dr. Wanyanga as well. These would be our experts that we'd approach to form this project steering committee. Number 3, we've reached out to B. Brown. B. Brown is the only local manufacturing infusion plant in the country. And also B. Brown only is in the EPZ, so it manufactures for exports. Only 20% comes to the local market. So we'd like them as just to do market due diligence in the sector, and also interest them as a strategic investor in these projects. Yeah, because they can give us, of course, cash and technology transfer. We don't want to go groping in the dark. Yeah, we are open to have experts coming in and invest and sort of catapult us. We don't want groping in the dark, like I said. We'll visit, Dr. Otundo has offered 3 different areas in Mombasa Road for commercial land. Again, the team has to look at the suitability for pharmaceutical plant manufacturing. Those are the criteria there: access, landscape, power supply, water supply, environmental impact, all that. To ascertain compliance to the EIA criteria, which is crucial for future fundraising. So initially, we are fundraising. I'll show you how we're doing that, but we need to be in compliance with EIA criteria, as that's what actually Africa Import and Export Bank required of us. Give it a value by a valuer for the shares in revenue suppliers. So that's the special purpose vehicle we have. PSK will get a small portion allocated to it for the purpose of its official office space, and I guess, again, also its shareholding. Quantification and phasing of the project, point number 5. Phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. Phase 1 is fundraising and setting up the plant. This will take up to 2 years. So that you're looking at 2021 and end of 2022. A plant size of 20,000 square feet. Yeah. Producing a total of 12 million units. The local demand is 40 million units. And if we choose to do export and local consumption, which will apply for local special economic zones where we can be able to export a larger fraction, put into the local market a larger fraction than what an EPZ puts into the local market. Kindly put the questions coming. I can see they are coming, but I can see they're coming at the chat, not in the Q&A, but yeah, please, we'll skim through those. So 6 million, so half of the 12 million is 15% of the 40% local consumption. And even with what B Brown are doing, it's not, they're not doing enough. So the rest we import. Remember, the other plants are either they're actually, one is closed, the other one is has been trying to sell, but it's not feasible to buy it because you're better off just doing a project from Greenfield. So that's one of the due diligences we did. Phase 2 is raising 1.5 million US dollars for management and incidentals. Again, that's for the 2 years to 4 years. Phase 3 is 10 million US dollars. That will go into giving us a 24 million units and upwards of 24 million production. So we'll have regional plants, of which export and local consumption. You'd want to have a plant towards the border in Busia, so that you can serve the export market of, out in Uganda. And also, because remember, these are fluids, they're heavy to carry. Yeah, so it reduces your distribution costs. Again, that's 3 to 6 years for phase 3. So how we raise the funds is private placement, first to PSK members, and there are incentives that we provide. But again, it will be a timed fundraising, because time is not on our side. And remember, we're making this information public. The next thing you'll see is someone has taken it and they are trying to do a half-baked project of what we are envisioned. So for us, time is of the essence. We have the due diligence done and all that. So it will be calling on members to on board. If again members don't on board, we'll do phased opening to other groups. So that's to our friends out there. We can bring in KMA Sacco and finance the members it has. We can talk to specialized groups. Again, we will not fundraise from the general public because we are limited by the Capital Markets Authority. So we'll target specific groups. KPA will target KMA, we'll target even LSK, just specific groups where they understand and know the risk of what you're doing. We'll also do strategic investors to cover up phase 3. Again, if they come in early, well and good. If we convince B Brown to come in early for the technology transfer and what have you, we'll be happy to do that. The total project cost is 16.5 million US dollars. Again, that's the cost per phase. We want to, one of the KPIs is the roads to NSC that will give this team. And it's not anything new. Yeah, if you look at the Equity Bank, they had a similar journey. It had its own members as a building society who bought the initial shares. We have our own members who buy shares. We'll invite, through private placement, we'll increase the nets. We know of those members who brought in other members to buy the initial investment in equity. Again, we'll do that for PSK. Deliver and operationalize flow banking. We'll do that for the modern plants. We'll attract a strategic partner. You remember Equity attracted Helios Partners as a strategic investor that had 25%. Again, that was a regulatory requirement that they couldn't do more than 25% of equity. They had that. We'll invite one. Again, an investor who has strategic interest in and will benefit from listing in the NSC. So that all journey, you'll see one of the incentives that will give the initial people once we reach our target of in the phase 1 funds is the bonus share awards. Again, all this, the finance consultants in the team will be able to work it out for us and communicate it into better language that attracts you to participate. So just remember that the NSC is hungry for visionary, passionate, and well-run organizations that can scale. Yeah, and this model we are so confident in its scalability in regional plans and also county plans. Fundraising templates. This is a fundraising template that they'll do. We will target members who can only afford 6,000 per month contribution. 12,000 from their paycheck, yeah. 12,000 per month, 18,000 and 24,000. You can also pay just one-off. Again, that will be able to cumulatively raise at 6.12 million US dollars. For almost of the company will already be allocated. The land allocation is there. Unallocated shares, total allocated shares are that. We have a max for a strategic investor there, but unallocated shares is 423 million, which half of it will go into bonus shares and the rest as PSK shares and also incentives to the team that will be able to run the project. Strategic investor scouting. We've already approached, the Bill and Melinda Foundation, the Africa Resource Center. We're also looking to attract USAID. We know they gave MEDS the initial seed capital to form MEDS, to start MEDS. We'll also look for such partnership. Personally, I have experience with Bill and Melinda Foundation. We'll also look for them. The investment arm of Bill and Melinda Foundation. There's IFC and all those. But again, these like coming in after something has already come up. So as members, we have to really, rally together and put something up. And if then now others can come in, because this is our sector. We need to show confidence in it. Approach leading global pharmaceutical entities in high volume parenteral fluids to invest in equity loans. So we already have letters to the Indian High Commission, KEPSA, B. Brown. Again, we'll attract and identify the best deal that we get. The team is free to determine suitability of number of technical and strategic investors, whatever mix that we need. We'll seek state incentives, special purpose, special economic zone status. Again, that will give us the whole thing of being able to put into the local market more than what the EPZ puts into the market. Remember, the EPZ is capped at 20%. Special incentives for APM manufacturers, because we know whatever we're entering into, the fluids manufacturing is borderline API, and the Ministry of Trade particularly. Actually, we even made a presentation where the Ministry of Trade was in, and they are looking at incentives for API manufacturers. Guaranteed orders from Ministry of Health, Vision 2030, and Presidential Delivery Unit, and endorsement as a national flagship project. So again, we'll be getting this as we go on, and that's one of the KPIs for the members. This report was made possible by meetings that were done by the following leaders: Dr. Louis, Dr. Ayeye, Dr. Nelly Kimani, Dr. Rutere, Mr. Peterson Mwangi, Dr. Mwenda, the Peace of Chair, and Dr. Alois Bidi. Allow me to stop sharing, and that's the end of my presentation. And really, I would like to go back to the beginning and sort of just remind you, this is a call to action for you to remember the three things. We either go into politics to raise our profile, we either go make noise to raise our profile, or we either come together and solve problems that the nation is currently experiencing. Because of the closed borders that COVID brought and increased supply chain costs, we are insecure. And this is a matter of national security. So you coming in as pharmacists, as PSK, and offering this sitting on the table, you actually get to sit as part of the security of the national interest committees that are taking us forward. What better profile to give yourself? And this involves each and every one of us, including our friends of the society. Remember, it gives you an opportunity to serve the nation, raise your profile, and give you a huge return on your investment for your generosity and vision. Dr. Kathy, back to you. I'll take questions. I can see there's a lot of chatting going on.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you so much for your great presentation. The model that you've just taken us through is extremely, extremely remarkable. And honestly speaking, your vision for PSK is very, very impressive. And you've schooled us on matters investment. And I really, really like what you said in your opening remarks and I quote, "We need to raise the profile of the Kenyan pharmacist and PSK Kenya, both regionally and globally." And so, my fellow participants, I'd really like to urge each and every one of you to think about what we will leave for the future generations in matters pharmacy. So thank you once again, Mr. President, for taking us through your presentation. It's an eye-opener of the things that we can do when we come together as pharmacists.